Hey gang, today I'm going to be talking about the Audio-Technica LP3 turntable. It's the one I use most of all, and so yeah, if you're wondering about its features, wondering if it's any good or not, then sit back, get comfortable, and let's get to know the Audio-Technica LP3, okay? Alright, here we are with the Audio-Technica LP3 turntable. It's a fully automatic turntable. Retails normally for around $250, but I've seen it on sale for around $200, and actually recently I've seen it on sale for about $170 on Walmart.com and on Amazon.com. So check it out. Yeah, this is a fully automatic turntable, which means it can just be operated with touches of buttons. It's got a dust cover right here, and I've seen some folks write that apparently the dust cover is not removable, but then I've seen other people say that it is removable. So let's find out who's truthin' and who's a lying. Well, gee whiz, gang, looks pretty detachable to me. So yeah, detachable dust cover. But I don't know why people would want to take the dust cover off, because, you know, it keeps it from getting dusty and linty and staticky. Okay, moving on to the features. It's got a tone arm, raiser, and lowerer that is all hydraulic-y and stuff. It drops down at a pretty slow and smooth speed. Yay! It is fully automatic with the stop and start button, so you know, if you're spending a day just sitting around scratching your butt and you're like, I want to listen to some records, you can just use your non-butt scratching hand to come and push the start button, and away it goes. Look at that, isn't that exciting? Just spinning round and round, and it'll lower it, and you get to listen to your music. And then if you're like, oh, I gotta stop and go answer the doorbell, then, you know, take your non-butt scratching hand, because, you know, you don't want to go spreading hepatitis around or poo-poo or anything. And you just hit the stop button, and there it goes, back to its little cradle. Now, one thing about this, in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, is that it does not have a latch for the tone arm, which, you know, could be a little bit of a problem, especially like if you're moving it around or anything. And that is probably my only gripe with this turntable, because, spoiler alert, I love this thing. It looks good, it sounds good, it plays well, it's so far easy to maintain. Personally, I don't normally use the start and stop buttons, because I figure, you know, the less I use them, hopefully the less of a chance of it breaking down. So I usually just kind of keep it manual, move it over myself, and then lower the tone arm whenever I'm ready. But first, before I do that, I normally hit it with a little dust brush, maybe a little anti-static brush, which may or may not be anti-statical. I've heard varying opinions on that, but either way, it's just another layer of protection against dusties. And then you can also hit the needle with a little needle brush, with a stylus brush. Sorry, didn't mean to say needle. But these do not come with it. That was purchased separately from many sources around the web. It does also have a size controller or settinger for 7-inch and 12-inch records, depending on if you're listening to 7-inch or 12-inch records. No setting for 10-inch, so too bad. But yeah. And I'm not sure if it kind of picked that up, but there was a little bit of a loud echo whenever you flip the size settings. But this is a plastic plinth, but it's a pretty solid one, especially kind of underneath. But it's a pretty weighty, hefty little machine for being a plastic plinth. Another thing with this is the top and the bottom have a slight kind of curvy arch to them. Some people don't like that. They want just like the rigid, straight, horizontal lines, but personally, I like it. Kind of adds a bit of character, a bit of style, a bit of class to your turntable. Also has speed controls for 33 and 45 and 33. Now with this one, and I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but I guess not, because I can come back to the other stuff. This one, I noticed when I was comparing it to stuff that I had digitally recorded, it was playing a little bit faster than 33 RPM. I'd say somewhere around 35 RPMs, which, yeah, it sounded kind of fast, and then was later confirmed whenever I put this little stroboscope disc on it, which, if I remember, and sometimes I do, I'll put a link to where I got this in the description, because, I mean, you can go and buy one at many places, either in person or online, but I printed this up from the internet and did it on kind of a thicker piece of paper, not quite cardstock, but kind of thicker drawing paper, just so it have some weight to it. And so what this does, for those of you that don't know, is it has a whole section of 33 RPM and a whole section of 45 RPM. I'm lying. This one's for 78 RPM. That's right. This was a two-sided thing, and the other side was like for 45 RPM and probably for 16 RPM. 16 and 78s aren't really common anymore, and I don't really use a 45 too much, so I was mostly just kind of wanting to recalibrate the 33 RPM. But anyway, this is the 33 RPM, number of rotations, number of times that a disc rotates per minute, and whenever it is set at the right speed, then these black lines, like while this disc is spinning around, and spins around like that, whenever you hit a strobe light on it with a certain frequency, then these lines will appear to be stationary. So I put this on here, fired it up, hit it with the strobe light, which was a strobe light from Motionics. I'll throw up a screenshot of that in a minute so you can see what it looks like and also what the setting is, because I had to set it for 60 hertz, which is 3600 RPM, and when you hit it and the strobe light's flashing, these black lines, when it's 33, should appear to be stationary. However, mine was the next row, which is, it says it's +2, so it's like 35 RPMs. Those were the ones that were more stationary. So I had to adjust it, which is done with a screw about right here, but on the underside of the turntable plinth. So I can show you how to do that. But first, you will need one of these, a little, eyeglasses or watch screwdriver. You can pick them up at Walmart for a couple of bucks or order them off the internet if you got a couple of days to wait. And you will want to use the Phillips head screwdriver part of it, because it's a Phillips head screw underneath. And isn't that blurry? Awesome. But, you know, you should know what Phillips head screwdriver looks like at this point. If you don't, it's the one that's not the flathead. Okay, on that note, I guess we will get to the underside of this, and I can show you where the little screw holes are, because you don't really want to flip your turntable upside down to get to the bottom of it. And what you'll have to do is kind of rotate it, which actually I guess I can show you how to do that right now. Okay. Put this down, back of that thing up. And pull it forward to where the feet of the turntable are still on the edge of your desk, your cabinet, whatever you have your turntable sitting on top of. But at this angle, you can still get to it underneath it because it's about right there where the screws are. It's about like 2 inches underneath it. So let's get under there, shall we? All right, actually, you know what? Before we get to that, I'll kind of give a little run through on the whole stroboscope disc thing. Okay, so it's a strobe light app by Motionix, and whenever you first open it up, it might just automatically be defaulted to this 10 kilohertz, but you want to set it to, all right, 60 kilohertz. So that would be 3,600 in the RPM thing. Enter, and look, there you go, 60 kilohertz. Isn't that exciting? Then you push the start button. You get this going. Let's kill this overhead light. Shine this on it, and this center strip should appear stationary. It does in real life. I hope it's also showing up that way on the film here. But it originally wasn't. It was the line above it that was appearing more stationary. So that's why I went in and adjusted it. There we go. All right, yeah, see how that thick middle line is pretty stationary. Again, hopefully that's showing up on the film here. Okay, let's get to the bottom. Okay, here we are underneath the LP3 turntable. The dark underside of the turntable. A more wretched hive of scum and villainy you'll never find. Okay, so the holes for adjusting the speed on these. There's one for 45, this one for 33, and here's your little screwdriver. Yeah, just get at a proper camera angle. Remember, that's always important. And pop it in. And you're gonna have to push it in a bit, and then whenever it gets through, which I'm not gonna go all the way because I've already adjusted this. If it's running too fast, you want to turn it counterclockwise, which is that way. And you kind of want your hand to be underneath here while standing up and shining the strobe light on top, so you can see how much you need to adjust it in order to get those lines lined up and straight. And it can be pretty sensitive, so be careful not to go like too much. But yeah, just go in, adjust it till it's all right, and then you're good to go. Lesson learned. So remember, turn the screwdriver counterclockwise if it's running too fast. Now if it's running too slow, then what direction do you turn it? That's right, anti-counterclockwise. And then, or clockwise I guess, and then it should, with a little tweaking, get back up to the normal speed. Moving right along, this thing also comes with a 7-inch 45 adapter. Now this isn't 7 inches, or boy would my hands be huge. No, this is for little 7-inch records, like singles. It's plastic, but it's solid, gets the job done. Okay. Back to the tone arm. It is pretty solid, pretty hefty, pretty weighty. So having this hydraulic tone arm control is pretty good. It does have an adjustable counterweight, which the book will walk you through on how to adjust that. It's pretty simple. I'd never really done it before and was able to do it with some ease. Eventually set it to 2 grams, set the anti-skate to the same, and you're good to go. Power cord is detachable. RCA cable, not detachable. That was a little bit of a issue with me at first, but then I remembered like an old dual turntable I had, a 606 I believe, also had a attached RCA cable. So I guess that's just high-end features. And it does have the ground cable, so you can ground out your record player so it doesn't have a looping hum distortion noise, because that kind of sucks. Let's see what else. Oh, but the only drawback with the attached RCA cable is that you're kind of limited in where you can place your record player in relation to your receiver, but you can always just get RCA female to male extension cables, and you could put them wherever the cables allowed you. Isn't that fantastic? I think so. All in all, okay, in conclusion, this thing is pretty kick-ass, especially for an entry-level turntable, and with the things going on sale, especially right now, so hop on it, ladies and gentlemen. It's super kick-ass. Oh, you got a rubber platter mat and an aluminum platter. Some people like the felt, some people prefer cork, some people prefer acrylic. I like the rubber one. Maybe I'd get an acrylic, but I haven't had an issue with this. I kind of prefer the rubber ones. And that, I believe, is that. So yeah, Audio-Technica LP3, fully automatic turntable. And there's the higher end LP5, but I've never played with that one, so I can't tell you about it. But this thing, I'm very happy with it. Very, very, very happy with it. Would I like to get a secondary turntable at some point? Sure, there are a couple I got my eye on. But if I never do, I'm happy with this one. Oh, and it has an upgradable head shell and cartridge and stylus. This is the 91R, I believe. It's a conical stylus. Probably going to upgrade to an elliptical at some point when it goes out, but I've been playing the hell out of this thing for months and months and months, and it still sounds really good. My only problem with the upgraded one is that it's green instead of red. I like the red on the black. It's pretty neat looking. But yeah, all this stuff is upgradable. So if you're not happy with this, you can upgrade it for not a lot of money. Now we're wrapping this up. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments and questions section below. If there's anything else that I can't think of, then do it or say it. Enjoy your evening. Have a blessed day, and see you next time. Bye. Bonus scene, boys and girls. All right. So this turntable can also either be plugged in to an amplifier, or it can be plugged into powered speakers, like, computer speakers, and so on. I don't really know what the so on would be, but use your imagination. That's what it's there for. So if you have it plugged into an amplifier, like a stereo receiver, something along those lines, you'll set it to phono. If you have it set into powered speakers, as in speakers that have a power cord that you plug into something, then you set it to line. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this bonus feature. And if you didn't, then I guess you didn't. All right.